Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to talk to you about being self-compassionate when you're trying to change your habits or get into some healthy routines. I like to talk about self-compassion when I'm helping people to change habits because the way that we talk to ourselves when we are making difficult changes can make a big difference. So first of all, I think when you're making a change, you are very motivated. So when you first start out making a change to your habits, you probably know exactly why you want to make the change, and you're very focused on how great it's going to be, and you have a lot of energy related to pursuing this new goal. And so it's easy to get started on the habit change. As you progress towards your goal, your motivation will go up and down. So there's sometimes when you're not going to feel motivated at all, and it's easy to have stuff at moments, which is, where you go, oh, stuff it. I'm just going to eat the thing, or, do whatever bad habit you're trying not to do, or I'm not going to do my home gym workout today. And so part of the process of being self-compassionate through behavior change is just noticing what's happening, accepting that, okay, I'm making this behavior change. This is actually really hard, and I'm having like a stuff it moment where I can't be bothered to do the thing. And so in these moments, people will often give themselves a bad label, call themselves a name like, oh, I'm such an idiot, or why can't I do this? Put pressure on themselves to be different to how they're feeling. And so part of it is accepting, okay, I'm not feeling very motivated at the moment. That's okay. So in this moment, be very self-compassionate to yourself. Oh, okay, this is the moment I'm not feeling motivated. I'm not going to call myself a name. I'm just going to notice that I've had a slip up, or I haven't done what I wanted to do, and I'm going to go back to the plan. Because in those moments, if you beat yourself up, call yourself a name, you're going to feel terrible. And if you feel terrible, then probably you're not going to feel very motivated to keep working towards your goal. You're probably going to want to beat yourself up and continue down that road because you've had a bit of a slip up. So being very self-compassionate in that moment is so helpful to getting back to the plan, accepting that it doesn't always go smoothly. And I think it's a really nice idea when you have had a slip up, or you've had a stuff at moment, or you haven't been acting as you would like to in terms of your plan, is to then rule a line off underneath that and go, okay, that morning is finished now. I'm starting afresh in the afternoon. So we always have a chance to start afresh and focus on right now what I can do. And the other thing too is, if you have had a slip up, or you've thought, let's give an example of, say you want to do your home gym workout. And normally for your home gym workout, you get your active wear on and you go down to your home gym area and you set everything up, you get the bench out, and you get, you make a big deal out of it. And when you're motivated, it's really easy to do that. Other days you might think, oh, I can't really be bothered today. Like, it's kind of rainy, or oh, I don't really have enough time. So your mind starts to talk you out of doing it. And so on those days, well, maybe you need to just lower the bar a little bit. I can't do the exact perfect home gym workout that I want to do. So maybe I can't be bothered getting changed into my active wear. That's okay. I'm just going to go down in the clothes I'm wearing. And maybe I'm just going to start with 5 minutes. Just start with a small amount that you can achieve. And normally once you get started, you'll probably be able to keep going. So just gently guiding yourself into the practice, into the exercise in a way that's self-compassionate, not beating yourself up, is a nice way to sneak into getting the thing done. So that's a nice thing to do. If you've done something unhealthy, say you're trying to do a healthy eating plan and you've gone out and you've bought like a whole tray of donuts, or you've bought a huge packet of lollies or something, well, you could say, oh, look, okay, it's a sometimes food. I'm not going to eat the whole packet. I'm going to get the donut. Maybe I'm just going to cut it in half and eat half the donut. Do you see? So it's like just catching yourself in that moment, not eating, 2 or 3 or 4 donuts in one sitting. It's going, okay, well, I have the donuts now. I'm going to eat some donuts, the small amount possible that you can. and then share them with someone else, or, invite a friend over, or give some to the neighbors, or, whatever you have to do. So you're not committed to what you've done. So if you've bought a big bag of something, you don't have to eat it all. You can just eat some and notice, okay, here's me. I'm going to eat some, and then I'm going to go back to the plan. Rule a line off and back to the plan. So if we're constantly holding us to this very strict standard, then we're more likely to have huger blowout moments where we kind of say stuff it. So just gently noticing, whoops, that's a little slip up, that's a little bit off the plan, and just gently guiding ourselves back to the plan. I think this kind of self-compassion is going to be really helpful for you if you're making a behavior change, if you're trying to eat healthier, if you're trying to get some sort of new habit in place. Because, we are not robots, we are humans. So this is in terms of behavior change. Now, the other one, you might be trying to work on your own emotional self-regulation. This is another area where you can work on your self-compassion. So, we might hold ourselves to a standard that I don't want to scream and shout at our children, or I don't want to scream and shout at my partner, or, we have this idea that we want to talk respectfully to our family. We don't want to be screaming and shouting. But there may be a moment where you do lose your temper and shout. And that's actually normal, because we're not perfect. We cannot be the perfect human. So while we might want to hold ourselves to a certain ideal, if we slip up and not meet this ideal, and we're really hard on ourselves, then we're going to feel even more miserable. So noticing if we've had a slip up, whoops, I've just shouted at the child, at the teenager, at my partner. That's not the plan. Noticing and then apologizing and reflecting on what happened, so that you can work on going back to the plan to generally be respectful. So if we're really hard on ourselves and beat ourselves up, call ourselves a name in those moments, it's going to exaggerate the negative feelings, and then we're going to feel terrible. And that's not a good place to come from when we have to go back to parenting and being a good partner. So avoiding those labels. You are not a label that you've given yourself. You are not a label that someone else has given you. I think that's a really nice way to be self-compassionate to yourself in those moments where you have had a rough time and you have behaved in a way that obviously is not part of your plan. The other thing about calling ourselves a name is we can then identify with that. And that sort of self-talk can be very unhelpful going forward as you try and make behavior change. Because we are only human, and we know that over time, when we've developed some habits, we've been wiring those circuits in our brain to act in that way. It takes a massive effort to rewire those brain circuits. So if we've been doing something that produces dopamine in our brain, then our brain is going to remember exactly what we do at that time to get that dopamine. So it's going to want you to replay that action over and over again in the old habit, in the old pattern that you used to do to get that same effect. So we're really working against a very powerful force, which is a habit and a brain circuitry. So rewiring that brain, changing those habits, getting a new routine is a massive effort. So you have to give yourself a pat on the back. When you're doing well, you need to really reward yourself. So we know that rewards, celebrating milestones is so important when you're doing a habit change. And that's actually a really self-compassionate thing to do. Imagine if you had a friend who was doing well and they were meeting their goals. You'd pat them on the back, celebrate with them. So don't beat yourself up when you have a difficult moment, but by the same token, reward yourself and celebrate when you're on track. Because if you've done something really hard, you need to be very kind to yourself. If you give yourself a treat, for a simple example of this is if you start a new exercise routine, afterwards with your friend who's gone with you or someone from there, if you go to have a coffee together or have some sort of little celebration, something enjoyable after you've done it, you're going to give your brain some dopamine, which is a feel-good chemical on that reward circuitry in your brain, and it's going to reinforce that behavior and you're more likely to do it again. So that's why rewards are also so important, and actually do something nice for yourself when you've done something hard. That's another way to practice self-compassion when you're making changes. I mean, the opposite of this is being mean to yourself. So it's kind of like if the kid, if you have a child and they've done something really well and you want to reward them and you tell them that you're going to, once you do this, then we're going to do this. There's going to be this happy consequence related to you doing this. If you don't do the happy consequence for that child at that time, that's extremely mean. That is not a nice thing to do. The same thing to yourself. So why would you do that to yourself? If you've done something hard, then don't not give yourself the reward or the treat. That's actually mean. You need to give yourself that celebration, that treat to reinforce it. And it'll also help you stay on track. So I hope you found this helpful. This is the self-compassion video for when you've kind of had a slip up, you haven't behaved in line with the goals or the ways that you want to live. I hope you found it helpful. Please leave a comment below if you found it helpful, if you are a little bit mean to yourself sometimes. Not beat yourself up. That's the main thing. You don't have to be perfect. You can aim for your ideals, but you don't have to get it right the 100% of the time. And if you are self-compassionate, then you're going to have the energy and the motivation to keep going towards those goals. You don't have to get it right all the time. Okay, YouTube, good to chat. I hope you're having a great week. Please let me know in the comments if there's something you want me to talk about on these videos. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.